Hey everyone, and welcome to the Doctor Who book tag. So in case you're wondering why I'm sitting over here in this very cramped space, this is because this is the other side of my bookcase. It's on the other side of my bed behind the camera where you usually don't see, and I am sitting here because this is where my Doctor Who book collection is, and just generally my Doctor Who collection essentially, and there was no better place to sit than here while talking about Doctor Who and the Doctor Who book tag, which I am doing to celebrate the fact that David Tennant and Russell T Davies are back in Doctor Who again, and I am so excited, hence why I'm doing this tag in the morning that I was supposed to be uploading this video, and so I apologise right now if this is a little bit rushed, but let's get into this because I'm so excited and so in love with Doctor Who again. I just want to celebrate. Question number 1 is First Doctor. Name your favourite first book in the series. Skullduggery. This first book is amazing. It just perfectly just starts off the series. You get so many interesting moments in here that obviously leads up to later plot points. You've got a really good explanation of the magic system. You really get a sense for the character dynamics and just the characters in general. The banter is on point. Everything is amazing. Also, my copy is sprayed edged and also slightly battered, I will say, but there's also inside dust jacket art as well, which you don't see on a paperback as well, which just makes it even more special. So it has to be this one. It has to be this one. Question number 2 is Second Doctor. What book is your favourite sequel? I have too many to choose from, so what I'm going to do is say Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe Volume 2. This one was so much better than the first one because the first one was just alright, but the second one really sort of delved more into why Wade is going on a literal killing spree around the Marvel Universe. You get more of an explanation for it, you get more of an idea of why he's doing it. It's dark as hell, I will say, and gory and everything else, and it was just an incredible read and so much more enjoyable than the first one. Question number 3 is Third Doctor. What is your favourite trilogy? It's got to be the 5th season. The Broken Earth trilogy, I should say, is absolutely incredible. This series was perfectly plotted. Everything was just so well done. At the plot twists of it, I will say I did guess one of them, but that's probably because I'm a fan of another TV show that I can't really say what it is because you'll probably guess from that, but so I won't say what it is. But it was just genius the whole way through. I loved how it all built up. I loved the world building, the powers of it. Everything else was absolutely genius, and this is definitely one of my favourite trilogies now. I adore it. Question number 4 is Fourth Doctor, which is name a book with a colourful cover. Gwenpool. I don't usually do colourful book covers. I don't know if you can see from the very little over here, and then also over on the other side where I usually film, I don't usually do that much colour. But then Gwenpool comes along in an explosion of colour, and I just love this cover. I love the art style of it. I love the character of Gwenpool as well, and it's just a really great fun sort of thing, and I just think this cover really sort of sums up Gwenpool quite well, to be honest. Question number 5 is Fifth Doctor. Name a book that features sports, and I'm going to say A Blade So Black because this does feature a lot of sword fighting and things like this, and actually at the end it does take the final battle does take place in a sports field, if I remember rightly, or a stadium. It's something to do with sports, essentially. I can't remember, it's been a long time since I read this, but I'm counting it for both of those because it does include a sport in terms of sword fighting, things like this. And I had nothing else because no other books I read feature sport because I'm not a sporty person. So the books I read do not feature sports. Question number 6 is obviously Sixth Doctor, which is to name a book with a dark and powerful villain. Babel, because I mean this villain is so dark and powerful because it's real, and it also applies to our world now, and I love that. I love a villain that could be seen as a real life villain as well. They're some of my favourite villains, so this one worked really well in that sense, to have that type of villain that you can now sort of see in real life as well. I think that was very cleverly done and brilliantly written. I'm going to be recommending this book forever, but Babel definitely has a dark and powerful villain, and you should definitely all go read it because I think it's absolutely brilliant, and the way it talks about racism, colonialism, all of that stuff is absolutely brilliant as well, and obviously they are the villains of this story, so check it out. go and check it out. Question number 7 is Seventh Doctor, which is your favourite adult or dark book, and I'm going to say Not Even Bones. I always say this is like Wednesday Addams' favourite book kind of thing, because you're dealing with our main character who is basically a monster who dissects other monsters and then gets sent to the monster black market to be sold herself. So in that sense it is very, very dark, and like this main character literally like calms herself down by like mentally going through dissections and things like this, and you do deal a lot with like the black market, people being sold for food and for other nefarious purposes, things like this. So it's very, very dark, and it's definitely one of my favourites, and I'm about to start the sequel and I cannot wait. Question number 8 is Eighth Doctor, which is to name your favourite dramatic book, and you can't get more dramatic than a Shadowhunters book, and you definitely can't get more dramatic than Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy, because the amount of things that happen in this, like there's death, there's bullying, there's like a child turns up and gets adopted by some of the characters who turn up. There's so many things going on. You can't get more dramatic than the Shadowhunters, and this one is just drama personified. Question number 9 is War Doctor, which is a book you wish you could forget. Ultimates, because this was disgusting in every single way. It was absolutely disgusting because it's so sexist. You're dealing with like abuse and rape, and they're basically like nothing happens to these characters for doing these things. Essentially, like basically nothing happens, and they're not like punished for what they did whatsoever, which was just disgusting. Like I said, there's also Wanda and Pietro, who are obviously twins, and they seem to be in a romantic relationship with each other, which is obviously disgusting because they are twins and they know they are twins and they've been raised as twins and things like this. So that was absolutely disgusting. I know that actually like it becomes the main plot point in one of the later ones in this series. It's also punching down at Robert Downey Jr. as well, because this was written during the height of his drug addiction, and it's just literally like punching down and making fun of him for that as well. I should mention that this is before he was hired by Marvel, but that still doesn't make it okay. And it was just disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. And I really wish I could forget about it, because it made me, like, it put me off reading comics for the rest of the month when I read this, which is not like me. I'm always reading comics, but I couldn't face those characters again, even in, like, their normal setting, because I couldn't. I just could not deal with this. It was vile. It was absolutely vile. Moving on, because I don't want to think about it anymore. Question number 10 is Ninth Doctor, which is, what is a book that made you pick up a series or genre again? I'm going to say Slay, because this is a contemporary, and I do not read contemporary. Like, not usually. I don't read contemporary, but since reading this, I've read like 3 of them and really enjoyed all of them. So it's making me sort of reconsider my stance on whether or not I like contemporary, and I'm forever thankful for that, because I didn't expect that to happen. When I picked this up, I thought I'd maybe reasonably enjoy it, but I absolutely love this. Question number 11 is the 10th Doctor, my personal favourite Doctor, also the 14th Doctor now. Cannot believe my luck on that one, still not over it. For context, I cried for half an hour last night after it aired. I cried for a solid half hour. I was gone. I'm still not over it. But anyway, moving on to the actual question, which is to name a super hyped book, and Good Omens. This is my favourite super hyped book of all time. I love this book. It is brilliant. It is hilarious. We're following an angel and a demon. The demon actually played by David Tennant as well, called Crowley, and you've also got Michael Sheen as obviously Aziraphale in the TV series, and they also do the audiobook as well now. They re-recorded it recently and I haven't listened to it yet, but I'm going to. But essentially they are trying to avert the apocalypse, but the problem is that they've misplaced the Antichrist. And it is genius. It goes from there. It's absolutely genius. I absolutely love it. It's by one of my favourite authors, Terry Pratchett, and also one of my other favourite authors, Neil Gaiman. Just genius. It's absolutely genius. And obviously David Tennant is on the front cover of this as well. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. He's right there. And ironically, he's ginger. I love this. It's one of my favourite books of all time. Without doubt, one of my favourite books of all time, and everyone on BookTube should be reading it. It's hyped outside of BookTube, and just generally the book community, and all of you are sleeping on this, so you should all go read Good Omens. That's all I'm saying. You should all go read Good Omens. Question number 12 is the 11th Doctor, which is to name your favourite children's or middle grade book. A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol. This is brilliantly done. This is an Own Voices autistic contemporary book about a young girl trying to get a sign put up in her village to commemorate the witches they burned at the stake hundreds of years ago, because she really identifies with these witches and how they were treated compared to how she's treated as an autistic girl, and it was beautiful. If you are wondering what it's like to be autistic, go read this book. Read any of Elle McNichol's books. You will fully understand what it's like to be an autistic brain. I highly related to this in a lot of ways. It was beautifully done. Covered so many important topics as well. And it was just genius. And I would recommend it to everyone. I don't care if you don't like contemporary. Read this. I don't usually like contemporary, and I love this. So just go read it. This is beautiful. Just go and read it. It's so good. Question number 13 is the 12th Doctor, which is to name a book that is your most anticipated new release. Most of my new releases that I've been anticipating are actually out now. The only one I've got left that I can think of and can remember that I'm really, really excited for is the sequel to Legendborn, which is Bloodmarked. I am so excited for this. I loved Legendborn so much. I cannot wait to read this one. It's a King Arthur retelling, and it's so good. The first one was so good. I cannot wait to read this sequel. And finally, the final question is question number 14, which is the 13th Doctor, which is your favourite found family, and it has to be The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter and everybody on Park Lane. I love them because they all came together. They've all been through very traumatic things and things like this, but even though they fight, even though they argue, they love each other dearly, and they make that perfectly clear throughout this book that they absolutely love and adore each other, even if they want to hurt each other on occasion because they're so annoyed by the other one. It's still absolutely beautiful and absolutely wonderful, and I absolutely love reading this series. I'm so sad I've finished it now, but they are just such a beautiful found family, and I cannot get enough of them. And that is the end of the tag, so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, tell me your favourite Doctor. I would love to know. Or if you don't have that much time, leave me a clock emoji down below to let me know that you're here. I'll also leave a link as well down below to all my social media if you want to check it out, including to the Comic Book Sanctum, which is my website dedicated to Marvel Comics, as well as to my Etsy and Redbubble store, which sells bookish merch if you're interested in that. Or if you just want to see any more of my videos, please click subscribe here, and over here will be the link to my previous video. But until next time everyone, bye!